Brooklyn Solutions platform now enables you to analyze any contract for a specific clause, topic, or the entire set of legal agreements, which can be across multiple documents such as services agreements, statements of work schedules, T's and C's, what can be hundreds of pages in length. Go to the contract profile and find the Contract Analysis tab across the top. Within the Contract Analysis tab on the left, you can select topics of interest that exist across the contract's multiple documents that you may wish to analyze further. In this instance, you can select a single clause that turns green and select the Ask Brooklyn button here for it to interpret precisely what that clause is about. Ask Brooklyn to turn it into a legal jargon-free layman's terms explanation and use the references and examples to help understand what the clause covers and how it should be considered and read in the context of the entire agreement. This can then be saved and attached to that clause block to be recalled later should it be necessary with these buttons here. Equally, you can look for topics that are on the left that are of interest, such as description of service, name of service provider, or anything new that needs to be configured, such as data processing. In this case, personal data is transferred to the service provider. You can see that these blocks have been automatically tagged across multiple pages and multiple documents. There are 16, collectively in total. To send these clauses to Ask Brooklyn for analysis, simply click the button here, and all 16 individual clause blocks are sent to the large language model, which then will respond and explain how personal data might be transferred out to this service provider under the agreement should the right conditions arise. Ask Brooklyn also provides you with a helpful confidence statement on whether it thinks this is accurate and self-standing or if it needs further supplemental information not contained in the legal agreements held in Brooklyn. This can be saved as a note against the contract for others to recall and see, which will then be shown against that same topic and category with this green icon. We can do the same for every topic that's of interest. For example, modern slavery is mentioned here across multiple pages in the document. Ask Brooklyn to summarize all the slavery-compliant elements that are held within the contract for you to easily see whether it complies with the Supply Chain Due Diligence Act of 2015 required by the EU. And again, you can save this as a note against the contract. All notes can be recalled very simply by clicking on the topic and the Notes section. These can be edited and text added or removed. Once you've reviewed the note in question, you can return to the clause blocks. Equally, if you don't want to look for any specific topics but just want a full structured contract description and summary, this can be made up from multiple documents across many hundreds of pages. You can come to this top contract description area and ask Brooklyn to provide a description of the contract. Given the size of the document, the total number of pages, and the number of documents involved, this can take a little bit longer, but ultimately, it's still a fraction of the time you would have to spend writing an equivalent paragraph. You can see here that the large language model has now responded, and the Ask Brooklyn module has provided structured response, concluding the contractual scope. Any entities and roles that are mentioned, what services and products have been purchased, what deliverables there are. Specifically, in the data, any key milestones, any specific terms and or rights, any people or roles that are mentioned, any pricing, and then a full summary. In addition, it also usefully outlines if it had any issues, concerns, or contradictions that it detected in its analysis. The response is saved and is fully editable under the contract profile shown here. If you wish to change the standard text provided and enhance it with supplementary information, it's as easy as editing a text field. You can change the formatting, restructure the data, or highlight key points in the text. The options are endless.